People might want to watch.
I'm okay with you bringing anyone that's not Drew. This team and Drew just don't get along right now.
I told her to just join any channel.
Hi, Oreo. Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back, Oreo.
Yep.
Alright, so I'll get it started here. Okay, you're coming out with Ryan Zarya Farah. Okay, that's interesting. On this point, I mean, Ryan Zarya works a lot better here. Typically, you want the sim. I don't know if you guys TP out here, out of the gates. The sim works with the Ryan and the Lucio because then you get your Ryan all over point, and especially in this kind of meta where you're going to be playing these three, like all three of these, they're not going to be coming in through one of these entrances, right? So in a meta like this, if you want to play a Ryan, you're going to need the Lucio, you're going to need the Symmetra, because you want your Ryan to be able to reach all these places. Because if your backline gets dived and your Ryan is holding back here, he can't get back here easily without giving up pressure up here. So with the Sim TP and the Lucio, you can get back here quickly and then get back up here if he needs to. So you run the Ryan Zarya, but it's the same thing again with like running half win conditions. Like if you want to run the Ryan, you're gonna have to commit to the Ryan. If you want to run the Pharah, you're gonna have to commit to the Pharah.
Are we supposed to be watching something?
I'm streaming.
I can't see it.
Oh,
Wait, on Twitch?
No, on Discord.
I can't see it.
Oh, everyone else can. I don't know.
I'm lucky.
Yeah, I can.
I guess I'll just listen.
Try like clicking the name of the channel and then seeing like when the squares pop up. Try to see if that works. Okay,
It
so
does.
come out here. That is a little aggressive. They don't have a hit skin though, so it should be fine.
That kind of sucks.
Try leaving and we can redrag you down. That's the only thing I can think of.
I'll try.
Okay, so this was a good flank. You guys pushed through main. I don't know if you were talking about this. You guys pushed through main while your Pharah was on the flank, and they especially since they TP'd in this way and then rotated back around this way. That was a really good flank. And this should be clean up from here. Okay. So right here, I think Stratus should be looking to go around. They swapped to the Brig for some reason and Ashe, which is a little interesting, so you have to play a little safer because they're running the Brig. But as Tracer, especially with a comp like this, what you want to do is you want to apply enough pressure to the backline so that your Pharah has an easier time getting value, and so that your Ryan can push in. Since there's three different like win conditions here, like two different win conditions, you have to play around half and half. You can't go in fully with your Ryan, and you can't fully go aggro with your Pharah. So you have to play the angles with Pharah, and then push off of the poke damage you get from the Ryan Zarya. Without a Lucio, it's a lot harder, but that's typically how you want to play these fights. Tracer needs to be going on these flanks, like over here, which opens up pressure for the Ryan to push up more, and the Pharah to take this ground. So nothing's really happening. No one has ults. You're getting close to Barrage and Nano, so that's two really big ultimates. Since you're close there, I would want to back up a little bit into this comp. It's a little interesting because they have Zarya Ball, but you need to save. You can't go aggro as Ryan, because if you expend Bubble on the Ryan, when the Pharah goes in for Nano Barrage, Ashe can just take him out of the air. Ashe and Zarkrat can just take Pharah out of the air really easily, even with the Nano Boost. So here you don't want to go as aggro because you want to save resources for your Pharah Nano Boost. Okay, well that's unfortunate. Okay. I don't know why dollars is far out. This is a little interesting. Yeah, so maybe that was like miscommunication or something. But your
Yeah,
the
I don't
far
know.
yeah, the fire pushed up to the spawn while all of you were back here. Even your mercy was back here. So that was, I think, probably I'm assuming some kind of miscommunication. And then since you guys are in disarray and your tracer and Ash tried to go up, your Ash just picks off the tracer. At this point, you should probably be playing back to point because they're all coming back. You can't really take this fight because you're down 2 members. You're down both your DPS. So it is actually still winnable. You just have to play around the nano. And you have to play around these chokes. Like you can't go aggro and try to take this courtyard because you're not going to have the DPS to contest these side grounds since they're going to be coming in through this way or this way. You won't have the DPS to contest this high ground, this ground, any ground really. So you would just lose that if you play that. But if you play these like this like corridor and these choke points, the Ryan can sit here and swing, and there's really only these sides that they can get attacked from since you're running Ash Junkrat. You go for the res, that's good. That was really bad from them. So they didn't push off of those 2 picks because they were regrouping. A good team will just push off of that immediately and push you guys back because you were only able to get that res because they allowed you this courtyard for that much longer, even when you're down 2 DPS. They should have just walked forward and let their DPS take these rounds. That was really risky, especially when your team's getting pushed into like that. You typically don't want to be barraging here because that's so easy for people. I mean, the Ash got picked, which was really good, which allowed the fire to do that. But in any other situation, that's just not okay. Because if you just walk through an open courtyard like that, people are going to know you want to barrage and they can just focus you down. Especially if you don't, if your healers are being pushed back here. So far, this is good though. You haven't lost a fight. They haven't really built ults though, so that'll be interesting to see.
I've also switched off like 3 different times to
Yeah,
different things.
kind of a throw, but so you're down your Ryan, so you back up to play this choke point, but your far is still out here. So if you're gonna back up like that when you lose your main tank, you have to all back up together. You can't have, like, I get that you were split because of the junk tire, but it was safer to just go around this way instead of try to walk out here and contest this courtyard, especially when they have an Ash. Like you can't just walk out like that, especially when they have a hog and an Ash. That's just not the smartest idea. And then you just lose that because you took the riskier route, I think. Yeah. I'm not quite sure why you guys pulsed there.
Yeah, I remember him saying something like he shouldn't have done that. He realized he messed up when he pulsed.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know what he was.
Yeah, so mostly you guys lost that fight because when you lose your main tank, you still tried to take this main courtyard when they had a sniper and a hog. That's not smart. I'm guessing you can tell that, especially when they're running a 2 pick characters like this that can just take you out immediately. You typically just want to take this safer route, especially when there's no shields. I mean, you guys are playing around Ryan like every game, so I guess you aren't learning that. But even when you have shields, you just need to be taking the safer route because they have characters that'll pick you off like that. Just in general, it's better to take the safer route. So your far on the right, your trace is far flanking left. I think you can push up here, but you also probably know they have grav. So they grav. What do you do? I'm not sure there's much you can then. That's nice sleep. Okay, well, I don't know what their brig is doing. Their brig kind of just threw that fight. Their tanks pushed up aggro here to go on your tanks, while you still had this ground, and the brig just sat back here the entire time. That was a little interesting. That was just a throw on their part. I think you just win this fight too.
Alex, will you drag Perps down?
I'm assuming you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming you just win this because their brig trolled. Okay, so I'm not quite sure why your Ana was there, and both your tanks were back here, but especially when they're coming back like that, you kind of want to make sure you're in a decent position to fight. Your Mercy gets picked, this is still actually losable. Well, you guys should just win this. Especially since you have your Zarya. Unless he dies. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean... Oh.
I miscounted my timing. I thought the rest of the team wouldn't get back in time, so I thought the ball was the only one.
Well... I guess, but even so... Probably shouldn't be doing that. Especially when there's just two on point. That's just not a smart idea. Because you know, like... You know it's just you and Tracer here. And you kind of always have to assume that they're going to be able to touch unless you literally team wipe them in overtime. I think you guys should just win this though. Especially since you're coming back with a crowd, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, this fight lasted a lot longer than it
Should have.
should have. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say here. This is just clean up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, the only fight you really lost was due to poor positioning, poor relocations, because you guys tried to go around. Instead of trying to go around, you guys just walked through main when you didn't have a shield, and then Ashe hog. So that's just kind of self-explanatory. Alright, so you come out on Lucio, and you have the Tracer Sombra. Okay, so here your plan should be to get a good hack off with Sombra, and then go in aggro with the Tracer on the side flanking, and then the Lucio speed boost. So here you have a clear win condition, which is good. It's what you should have. You've got the Lucio, you've got the Rein Zarya, and you have the Sombra Tracer to flank. Okay. So since they don't have a Rein, you should just be pushing aggro here. Your Ana should not be this far back, your Lucio Zarya should not be this far back from your Rein. If you have Lucio and then Rein Zarya, you need to be pushing that advantage, because they neither have a Lucio or a Zarya to help their Rein. They have Brig, and Brig just melts. So you need to be pushing this advantage with the Lucio. I don't know if you guys do, but you kind of... Yeah, it looks like you guys are just sitting here. That's a really good anti. He should die. Yeah, like, right now, Lucio and Rein should be here. Like, fighting, brawling out in here. You need to be pushing this advantage. Like, you kind of just waited for the anti-nin when you really don't need it, especially when they're not mirroring. Like, you just have so many more resources to put into your Reinhardt, and you need to be pushing that advantage anytime you can get. Like, you need to punish them, especially in this meta, you need to punish them for running Rein without a Lucio or a Zarya, and without any resources. I don't know what the fuck they're running here. This looks like they're just trolling. But you need, especially when you have a win condition and they don't, you need to be pushing that advantage.
They had 3 wingers, so I don't know if they just didn't know what they wanted to run.
Yeah. I don't know. This just looks like trolling. Okay.
Did we lose this map, Alex? I don't remember.
This is the point we lost, and then we won Gardens.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, this wasn't a very clean map.
That's a little unlucky. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure there was much you could have done there. Hmm. Yeah, that's just unlucky. So you're down to Lucio, so you can't play aggro here. Half your team, your Tracer is back capping point. You've only got these three up here with you. Your Sombra's on the flank. You can't play this aggro, especially in the Hog Reaper. You have to back up here, especially when you lose your Lucio like that, because you have no speed boost to get you out if you're in a sticky situation. Like, you're way too aggro. You die here, the Summer hack was late. And you back up. You can still win this. Zarya gets hooked, yeah. So that was just Lucio getting picked was unlucky, and you had the back out, but you didn't. You chose to go aggro. I'm not quite sure why, especially into Hog Reaper when you don't have a Lucio. So that was just kind of asking to die. Okay, that was a little unlucky. Just you should just be contesting point here as long as you can. Oh, oh,
Yeah, huge shit there.
wow. Okay, that was really sloppy, but that was a really big shatter. That was good, but yeah, that could have gone south very quickly. You can't play that aggro without your Lucio. That's kind of what I mean when I say win condition. Like, you saw how fast you just died as soon as you lost the Lucio. You have to realize that that's gonna happen every time you're not running Lucio with the Rhine. So you have to understand that every time you want to run Rhine without a Lucio, that people can push into you that easily, and you will just melt because you have no exit plan without a Lucio. Lucio offers so much aggression and so much back out just because of the speed. Like, Ryan and Lucio is just too good together. You can't. It's so hard to play them without each other. That's a really good hack. Your Lucio should be speeding here. Okay, so Lucio, you should you shouldn't be taking these off angles for ult. Like, especially when you're running the Sombra as well, you should be with your Rhine always. Because the thing is, this hack was almost certain death for this Reinhardt, but since you weren't there to speed him in, you couldn't take advantage of this. Yeah, so that was just you guys not being able to take advantage of it because your positioning was bad. Like, your Zarya was here on the left, which is fine. She's Zarya. But your Lucio has to be with your Rhine, because if you're not with your Rhine, you can't speed him in. Okay. You lost your Sombra, so you should be looking for opportunities to go aggro even with that hack. Right there was a good opportunity. So they use the hook, but they don't get any value out of it, so you can speed in right there. So you guys use Grav and Rally, or they use Rally, they use Shatter. That's a little interesting. Okay, so you shouldn't be back here as a Lucio. Lucio should always be, like, literally in this kind of composition, you should always be with your Ren, constantly. You just need to be a speed bot for your Ren. Because if your Ren doesn't have speed, since they're not running the Lucio, they have so much more damage. And you can't be letting your Ren be cut out with that damage without a Lucio to speed him out. Because if you do that, then you just lose immediately. you need to be playing with your Rhine in this kind of comp. Okay, so you get a kill on the Rhine, your Sombra dies again. There's a Reaper on the flank. Okay, well, that's unlucky. I mean, I'm not sure any of you could have called the Reaper flank. The boop, I'm not sure if that helped. I think you guys just lost that fight anyway. Alright, okay. Sombra can't keep getting caught like that. Like, you're so far away from an EMP. You use the EMP first fight, and it's almost a full 100% later, and you're only 50 DMP. Like, that cannot happen, especially if you want to run the Sombra. You're just getting no value. You're just running in and dying to their hog. Like, you can't keep doing that, because you need to stay alive, because especially in this kind of comp, the Sombra, you're sacrificing a lot of damage and utility for the ability to just hack to go in, and for EMP. And you can't do either of those things when you're dead. So you kind of just have to play slow, especially when your team's coming back from spawn. Like, you can't allow yourself to get picked like that, because now your Ryan can't really do anything. All of you go white. Your Tracer's still coming back. That's unlucky. You commit Nano. Yeah, that's just kind of a lost fight. Yeah, so that was just a 5v6, and they had ults. Or they had more ults. You guys committed Nano and Beat. The Beat didn't get off because of Ash. And the Nano was just kind of useless because your Ryan can't get any value.
We didn't nano Ryan, we nano Tracer.
Oh.
Striders called for a nano, which we've done and is a strategy in our playbook. Give it to Striders and just kind of let him pop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, but if you have the Lucio and the Ryan and the Zarya, you typically want to be, especially when they're also running Ryan without any of those. If you can take out their Reinhardt, then you can win the fight so much easier than if you just Nano Tracer and let him get in the back line. Because especially with Bap Brig, it's a lot harder for them to, or it's a lot easier for them to shut down a Nano Tracer than a Nano Ryan. So you should be thinking about that, like who to nano into specific comps. Nano Tracer would be good in some circumstances, but in this kind of matchup where the Ryan has so much less resources than your Ryan, you need to be abusing that. Like, if you're not abusing that resource advantage that you have running 3 characters specifically tailored for the Reinhardt, then there's just no point in running those characters. So you actually can come back in here with the Lucio speed boost. Your Lucio's not with your Ryan again. So you guys can't push in. You guys need to be pushing in here. I don't know what you're waiting for. When you get 2 bigs like that, and you have a Lucio, but you both your healers, you shouldn't be waiting for your Zarya. Especially when they're down 2. You need to be pushing that advantage. Your Tracer just nanoed and killed 2. And now that advantage is gone, because Brig is back and Zarya's coming back as well. When you get 2 kills like that and you're up 1, like, you should be pushing that, especially if you have a Lucio, because you can push that advantage so much easier than they can, because you're running the speed boost. You just wait so long. Like, you guys are playing so passively when the entire point of this composition is to just go in aggressively. It just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, like now they have 6 members together. Like, your Tracer killed 2 there, and now it just doesn't matter because you waited so long to come back in, especially when you have a Lucio. They're on Zarya now, which is a little interesting. That's a little unlucky. Okay, well, that's a little unlucky. There's not much we can do there. Like, the Shatter and EMP happened at the same time. The only thing to really say there is just kind of, I mean, block the Shatter, obviously, but none of this would have happened if you had just pushed the advantage with the Lucio. The entire point of running Lucio is to push an advantage. They don't have a Lucio either. So if you push into them aggro, they can't do anything to stop it. Especially with how Brig is now. You can just kill... If Brig tries to aggro and try to stop the push from your Reinhardt, you can just melt her because she has 200 HP.
Okay. Yeah, I
Like,
was wondering that as I was playing playing the Reinhardt, I constantly wanted to go aggro, but I was like, wait. I was just I was asking, do we have speed? And then I would get an answer back like, oh no, we don't have it, and so I would back out.
I mean, you don't need amp to go, especially when they don't have a Lucio. Like when they have a Lucio, yes, you kind of need amp to go in aggressively. But since they don't have a Lucio, you can just switch to speed, not amp, and still go aggro because you have the Zarya, you have the Lucio, you have the Sombra, and the Tracer flanking. Like you don't need the amp to get your Rhine in there because you have so many other resources tailored to getting your Rhine in there that you don't need the amp. You can save the amp for later, and even if you don't have it, you can go aggro. Especially when they're down, they're off tank and they're off healer. Like right there, you just had to go in. There was there was no other play.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, like Ryan was antied here, and your Ryan was here, your Zarya was here, but your Lucio was back here on heal. Like you need to be with your Ryan. Like, and when I say with your Ryan, I mean literally like right behind your Ryan. Because the thing is, you need to be able to either boop Ryan back if your Ryan gets low, or speed him forward when their Ryan gets low. And you can't do either of those things when you're back here. Like when you're trying to balance, like I don't know if that's what you're trying to do, but you're trying to balance the edge of your aura so that your Ryan is barely in it, when that's not the play. You have to be up there with your Ryan, because Boop is such a powerful tool to either catch someone out or peel for your Reinhardt. Like, you can't be playing that far back as Lucio. There's a Reaper in the back line, he just kind of killed 2 people. Now at this point, since your main healer's done, you just have to play together with the Lucio speed and heal boost. And you need to take advantage of those. Like you see how always your Lucio is just somewhere other than your Ren. And this has been happening this entire game. Like this entire point, why are you even running the Lucio? Your Lucio and your Ryan have been split. There's no point in running the Lucio if he's just not going to be with his Ryan. It's so stupid. That's like running Ash Mercy and having your Mercy just pocket the other fucking off tank. Like, it's just dumb. There's no point in having a Lucio if he's always going to be split from the Reinhardt. Yeah, you started off really strong, but you just threw multiple times because the Lucio was just getting no value. Okay, so we're running the same thing as last time. They're running double bubble. So you go white. Okay, I mean, I guess this is fine. What I was gonna say was, when you have a Pharah, it allows you to go through main a little easier, especially because you have the fire pressure. But I guess if you're scared of a boop, that's not really an option. I think Pharah applies a lot of pressure so that your team won't be able to get booped, but this is just the safer play, which is fine. Okay, so your Fire and Mercy see the monkey behind. This is an easy collapse. All you have to do is just turn around and collapse on their monkey and he's dead. He has no jump. He only has bubble. His team is all the way back here. There's literally no possible way the monkey should live here. Okay. Yeah, that monkey should not be alive. He should not have lived that long. Like, as soon as he jumped As soon as he was here, honestly, and he started the jump, you guys should have just turned around and gone on him. Because he has no jump. He has literally no way out. Especially if you block this tiny-ass corridor. Then their Ana can't heal him. Like, sure, the break and dust backs, but what is that going to do against 4 people of damage? There's no way the monkey should have lived there. And that's also another thing I'm noticing a lot. When you're kind of running this 4-2 split, you have to protect your Ana, because that's the only heals 4 members of the team are getting. Or 3, I guess, technically. Like, you have to protect your Ana, and your Ana just dying first to a Winston that's completely out of position is just the stupidest thing that can happen. Like, that should not be happening. Like, maybe your Tracer, right? But your Ana should not have died there. That's literally the last person that should die, other than Ryan. Your Fire's doing a really good job of contesting. You won that because they trolled, walked in the Pharah. That was interesting. They're still letting break, which I don't understand. That's just such a big throw. Okay, so again, Monkey's in alone. He has no jump, probably. He probably used jump to get in. There's 4 people here. His team is all the way back here. There's literally no way he should live, unless he's on the outside, which he hasn't. He has no bubble, probably no jump. There's no way he should live here. Okay, good. And here, you can just push these guys. There's not really any way that they get out alive if you guys push them together.
Question: should I have shattered there to help us
No.
secure those 4?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if you could have gotten all 4, maybe, but otherwise, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe if you could have gotten like Mercy and like Zarya, that's a good shatter. Or if you can go to all 4, but in most situations, no, you don't want to shatter there.
Okay.
Okay, so right there, you guys are way too split. Like your Ana is just the farthest out this way, while you have a Tracer, Ash Mercy. Your Ryan is I don't know what you're doing over here. There's nothing for you to hit. There's nothing for you to shield. Everyone's in front of you, and no one's near you. So there's literally you're getting no value here. I don't know why you guys stayed white. You should have just as soon as they backed out here, you should have just gone back into point and seen how they were going. Because you stayed here, it allowed them to come in through both ways. And your Ana had no idea where to position, which is fair. I don't blame her. And then they just had the better flank, and then they won because of your positioning. Especially when you're playing as a team, there's no reason that stuff like positioning errors like this should happen. Like all of you should know where each other is, and you should position accordingly. Like especially when you're in a Discord call, all of you should know where all of you are. They should never be like, oh, where's our Honor playing? Because you should always know where your Honor is playing. You need to have that positional awareness to understand where you need to be standing in correlation with your other teammates. Because if you don't, then they can pull stuff like this, where they just go 3-3, take advantage, and just kill your team in 2 groups. This monkey's dead. Okay. Now you should just win that. Oh.
Yeah, that monkey
That's a
kind of
good
fed a
shot.
lot.
Wait, did you say that was a bad shatter?
No, that was a good shot. Shutting
Okay.
down the Nano Tracer is really good.
Okay.
Your father went really aggro there, which was a little interesting. But it was fine because caught out the aggression on their part. The Zarya's way too far in there. You should probably be backing up here. Because your Zarya, you shouldn't trust your Zarya to take that 1v1. Especially, like, it's just not a good idea. You should always. I mean, you're Mercy Valked, and it looks like she's helping your Zarya, which is fine. But okay, yeah, you charge back. But yeah, you should probably be like, especially when there's someone out of position like that. Like, you need to be taking advantage of these positional mistakes. Because if you're the one making positional mistakes and you don't punish theirs, then you just kind of lose against a better team than this. This team, I have no idea what they're doing. It just looks like they're kind of throwing. You can't really do anything about that. Your father's doing well. You see how, because I'm guessing you guys were a bit more coordinated, as soon as Monkey jumped on your Ana, you guys were able to peel back for her. That's because you all were in a good position. The fight, like, a lot of fights, you guys just aren't in good positions to peel for your backline, especially when they're running this kind of Monkey Zarya kind of thing. Like, you have to be aware of where every member of your team is. Ana still definitely dies here, but you should just win this. You just need to push the Zarya together. Okay, so say you need to push the Zarya together, and it looks like your Ryan was the only one on Zarya there. Zarya dies. You guys should just win this, but yeah. You got like these kind of positional things. You can't be letting those happen. Where is my cursor? You can't be letting those kind of positional mistakes happen and get away with let them get away with it for so long. Like this Zarya is completely alone on this side, and she lives for so much longer than she should have. Now it should just be clean up. So most of the fights you lost were because of unlucky ult usage or just poor positioning. I'm gonna go into these next games with the assumption that that's also the reason you lost a lot of fights in these games. A lot of fights in these games, if you did, because typically one big problem translates through multiple games, especially in a team environment.
Yeah.
So I might not be able to talk more because if it's the same mistakes, I'm not going to keep pointing them out because I'm sure you guys will be able to find those mistakes. Like if it's another positional thing, I'm sure I don't need to go over it again because I just went over it last map.
Yeah, I would say maybe this map, because this map I feel like it was close. This was, well, this was close in theory. Our closest was Dorado. It was 6-5.
Yeah, you told me that, but yeah, I'm not gonna be going over like every single mistake you guys make like in last time because some of them are just gonna be overlaps, and I don't really think there's a point in going over the same mistake twice in different maps. Okay. So with the Genji, you should be looking to just push in. They still don't have a Lucio, so you still have the advantage. You should just be able to push into them with the Genji, with the Ryan, and just make their Ryan not want to play the game. Like that should be your objective here. Okay. Your Lucio should not be this far back. I don't know what your Lucio is doing here. Like maybe he's trying to poke through here. Like
I couldn't tell you.
I can tell you, he was talking with Tyler, and Tyler said that's one of the best positions on Kings to hold is Lucio. So I think Hydra was just taking that spot.
that's So stupid. The entire point of running Lucio with Ryan is to speed your Ryan around. You're literally who are you like? What are you doing here? Like, who are you affecting? Ana? Like, that's I I have no words.
You mind
Like,
if I ask a question?
Sure.
With the presence of the widow on theater, would it be too dangerous for him to be playing forward with Reinhardt?
No, because you just play this corner, especially with the Ryan shield. Like, you. Okay, I mean, maybe it's a little dangerous, but like, what do you? I mean, like, what do you even like? What can you see? Like, what are you shooting your gun? Like, are you? I'm a little confused. Like, is Hydra here?
No, he's not.
No, but he'll
No,
watch
he's
the
not.
he'll watch the recording. He said
Yeah.
he was going to be here. I don't know
I-
why
I-
he's not.
Like, I don't want to call people out, but it looks like you just lose this, in my opinion. Like, your Lucio's not there. If I was Ryan, I would think my Lucio's with me and I would try to go aggro. But your Lucio's
Yeah,
like, he's
well,
not even. I don't even like. Is he shooting at any? Oh, okay. That's still bad. You shouldn't be up here, especially with with the widow. You can't play this corner because wall riding can only go in one direction unless you come off of the wall and go back on. And you're not even. I don't think that's how your aura works. Like, I'm 99% sure your aura doesn't work downwards. But I mean, even so, you still shouldn't be here. Like, this is just not a great position to be in. You should be on the ground, because on the ground you can get better boosts to peel for your Reinhardt. You can boop people inwards, because when you're up there, it takes a while to come down, and then they can just take advantage of the time it takes for you to come down, because you come down in a predictable pattern. Yeah, like, you should be on the ground with your Reinhardt spinning him around. Like, you just gave up this corner because your Lucio's not with you to push this advantage. Like, their Zarya was so overextended. If your Lucio was on the ground with you, you could have just sped in and booped her in to your team. So your Lucio backs up really far. I don't know what he's doing there. Your Ryan's getting pushed into super hard, and you don't have a Lucio to help, even though that's the entire point of running Lucio in this comp. So that's a little interesting.
I think I do understand what Hydro is doing. Slightly. In our scrim before this, he was getting caught out a lot for not peeling, so I think he was trying to play more protective for the peel because he didn't want to be caught out.
Yeah, but when they're running Ryan Zarya with no Lucio, you need to be pushing that advantage. Like, sure, you don't want to die, but you also need to be getting enough value to warrant the Lucio pick. Because, like, if you want to play back and play protective, then just play Brig. Like, even though she's bad in ladder, in team play, she's still decent. Like, if all you want to do is play protective and back, and you're not getting value with your speed because you're just not with your Reinhardt because you're playing creature protective, then just play Brig. There's no point in playing Lucio for the speed if you're just not going to speed. Like, at this point, even Mercy would be better. Like, you're just getting no value with the Lucio. You're not speeding. You're not, like, building. You're not really good at building beat. Like, you're not, like, putting pressure on their backline. You're just being a heal bot because they're not going aggro. Because they can't. They can't go aggro because they know that you guys have the Lucio and they have a break. So they have to wait. But you're not pushing that advantage. You're just letting them get away. Like, their Brig is getting so much value simply because you're not abusing the fact that you have a Lucio and they have a Brig. It's not even like Brig is getting value. It's just your Lucio's getting no value, so it looks like their Brig is getting value. Like, your Zarya just dies because you just gave up this entire point space. Like, you started out here, in the matter of 10 seconds, you backed up to here because your Lucio is playing so safe. Like, even now, like, your Lucio is just not with your Reinhardt. Like, this is just interesting to see. Your Genji gets a really good pick on Widow. You guys back up. You're able to stabilize, so I think you guys win this. But yeah, like, so many, like 2 of you died for just no reason. Oh.
Yeah,
This was a
Alex.
mistake. I have a question. Can you pin onto that red bus there?
You can, but you still shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't pin past here. That's just not a good idea. Unless you have, like, Nano, or, like, your entire team is behind you.
Forgot that happened.
Yeah, I think that's also Barley. Like you know how aggro I like to go. I also thought I had more support.
Yeah, that was
That was a hard mistake on my part.
a little creative. So you guys just need to back the fuck up here. Especially when you lose your Ryan on the map like Kings Row. Like, you just need to back up. Okay. That's a really good shatter. Oh, that's another really good shatter. I have no idea what's happening. I can't tell who's winning. Okay. So, that was a really good shatter. They united Lucio.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
okay.
that was a misclick.
Yeah, if you look at the
Okay.
thing he jumped in front of.
Okay, yeah,
I
that's
think
fine.
the
That's just a
Genji.
misclick. But the boop was also a little interesting because you shattered them here and then you booped him back here. So your Raiden couldn't exactly get value. You were also the Lucio was also asleep, so it's not like you could speed the Raiden in. So that was interesting. And then they get a really big shatter.
That was my fault. I lost track of the Rhine there.
I don't know what's fucking happening, I'm gonna be honest. This is just chaotic. And then they a Ryan, and I think you just lose probably because their Ryan pushes the advantage. Yeah. There's just not much you can do there. Just a lot of ults being used, and they just played that better. Yeah, there's not much you can do there as a team other than just play mechanically better. But I mean, I guess that just comes with playing the game a lot. This, I mean, your Lucio's not there, but that Zarya was really aggro. Yeah, okay. What was happening right there? Where the Lucio was speeding in and the Ryan was getting overwhelmed? This should have been happening all game. Like, when you're running the Lucio, that's what needs to happen. Because you see how their Ryan couldn't do anything, and their Brig couldn't do anything either. Just simply because they're running the Brig. And that's just too much aggression for the Ryan to handle, for their team to handle. Like, this needs to be happening. Like, this is the only good use of Lucio that I've seen. Pretty much in both the second point of Lijiang and this one. This needs to be happening all game, especially when they're not running the Lucio. You should still be going aggro, even with the rally. Wow. Okay, so probably should have called out the junk that was just kind of walking through here. I know he definitely should not have been able to get out for free. Especially as I don't know if Obro's here, but as an off thing, that's kind of your job. If there's like a squishy behind, you just need to turn around and laser him because the Ryan can't give up the front line for a DPS. That's kind of your job. Yeah, so here you just need to back up. The Lucio's not even there to speed your team. That was an interesting grav on your part. You really didn't need that grav because you're nano blading. You just need to push in with the Lucio speed. You don't need a grav. There's just no point.
We called the grab before, and then Nano Blade got used during. That was not called before.
Okay, well that's just ult usage then, because you used 3 ults on a fight where you only had to use 2, or even 1. Because if you look at how their team is positioned, like you can easily just take these guys out with if Genji hadn't bladed and just turned around and gone here with the Widow especially, you probably could have just grabbed their tanks and then forced them to play aggro, force the resources and time out of them, and then nanobladed. But this was just a bit too much. Okay, so Iran's coming back from spawn. You guys pop science, they pop science. Okay, so Dollar should be looking to get the fuck out. I'm assuming he does right now. He doesn't. You did good playing this corner. You guys still aren't going aggro. They have a Mei, so it makes a little bit more sense why you're not going aggro. But even so, you should still be pushing this advantage. Like, it's just... You're running Lucio on King's Row, and you're not speeding in. Like, their main tank is down. You have beat. Just... Oh, just get in, please. Oh my god. They don't even have a Rhine. You just speed in and you win the fight here. I don't know why, like, you guys are just playing so slow with the Lucio. Like, you take out their main tank and then you just don't go aggro with the Lucio. Like, I don't get it. Why are you running Lucio? Just play Brig then. Or Zen even. Like, on healers like Ana and like Brig or whatever, you typically want to have less deaths, as little deaths as possible. But with Lucio, you just have to go aggro. Like, especially in a meta like this, there's no situation, unless it's like the perfect game, where you keep your deaths low and get a lot of value out of Lucio. Because you just need to be going aggro. You need to be speeding in. You need to be like borderline feeding, especially when they don't have a Lucio, because you just win the fight. It's just too much for their team to handle. With the Mei, maybe a little less, but you just need to be taking advantage of this Lucio, especially if you choose to run it. Like, it's not even the player, too. Like, if you guys just tell Lucio, just save amp, or just speed me in here, like, I'm sure he would understand, and then just save his amp and speed in when you guys tell him to. Even if it looks like feeding, like, you just kind of have to trust the team. Because here, your Lucio's just getting no value. You're winning fights based off of, like, picks and ults. You'd never want to fight because of the Lucio speed boost. And this is also, I said this earlier, like maybe like 4 or 5 days ago, like a week ago, but when you're running a win condition comp, you need to understand what the win condition is. Like, the win condition here is speeding in with Lucio, but you're not doing that, which is why you're getting rolled. Like, even if you run, like, sure, like, you can run double shield, right? But if you don't understand what the point of double shield is, you're just gonna lose. Because you don't know what you need to be doing. It's the same thing. Like, you're running a win condition comp, but you don't understand what your win condition is, so you're not winning. It's just kind of the same thing. Okay. You shouldn't... I'm guessing you know that you shouldn't have charged there.
Yeah, I
Or
think.
even if you had charged, this way.
Yeah.
Not this way.
Yeah, I was getting punished for that a lot, and that is something I know I have to work on with my Rhyme play. Because I
It's
used to be
sort of...
super. I used to be super passive. Now I'm a little too aggro.
Like, you just need to... Like, this charge was fine. This charge was interesting. You just need to, like, take a second and think. Like, just think about your gameplay. This is a problem one of our other tanks had. Like, just while you're playing, don't just go into autopilot, because shit like this will happen, and then shit back at main choke where you just charge through when the bus was here. Stuff like that will happen. You just need to think about your gameplay, and I guarantee you some of these things will stop happening. You just need to think, okay, what's the play here? What do I need to do here? Especially with Lucio too. This is honestly, this is advice for all of you, because even like GM players struggle with. Even I struggle with this sometimes when I play ladder. Like, you just need to think about what you're doing. Because sometimes, since you play so much Overwatch, I play so much Overwatch, so sometimes without realizing, I'll just go into autopilot and I'll just do things because it feels right. And you can't do that. You have to be thinking about everything you do. Because if you do things because they feel right, you're just going to lose. Because the enemy is always thinking about what they're doing. Like your Lucio should be up with his Zarya and trying to speed her out. He should not be playing to live. Oh, that's a little creative. I don't know why you'd grab there when you're down. Like your Ryan and your Genji. You're down 2 and you grabbed really forward. That's a really good build. This is still losable though. Okay, well, not anymore. Yeah. So that was just, yeah, like any fights you win, it's not because you're just playing at better as a team. It's because something like happens. It's because you commit ults. It's because you get a good boop or something like that. You're not winning fights just because your team plays better. It's always ults or something like that. That needs to change. You need to be able to win fights without committing resources and without like miracle plays happening. Because that's the only way you've won fights up until now. Nano Blade, Grav, big boops. Like you need to be able to take advantage of the constant win condition, and you're just not, which is why you're losing. Lucio's also just playing walls too much. Like playing walls is good on Lucio. It's mobility. It's literally one of the best forms of mobility in the game. But there's a difference between using walls effectively and just doing it to look flashy.
That's partially on us. Before Hydro switched back to playing main support recently, one of his biggest issues is he wouldn't wall ride.
Yeah, no, not wall riding is better than doing this because you're just never, because like wall riding you need time to come down, and if you're like you just wall riding too much. Like there's no point in wall riding right now. Like what's the point? What you should be doing is like positioning with your Rhino out here to poke for your ult, because you never have sound barrier, and it just confuses me. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why you don't have Oreo in on Lucio.
He was
he
not
wasn't here.
there.
Okay.
Oreo went on vacation on us. Can't believe you.
Yeah, like I don't. Why? The reason you're here is because you were trying to be flashing by wall riding up here when there's literally no point. What were you doing up here? Getting 5% ult charge? By overextending past their Rhine? I mean, I'm guessing you just die here. I hope you die here. I'm not gonna comment on Lucy anymore because I think if he watches this, he'll get my point. Like, you just need to be smarter. Stop trying to look flashy. Stop doing stupid things. Play with your
Just
Rhine.
get good.
Yeah, like there's just so many things that your Lucio needs to work on, which is fine. Like, obviously, you're not the best Lucio. I don't even know if you play a lot of Lucio, but yeah, just play as a team. Like, this is the kind of stuff I do in like ladder and like masters. It's not in a scrim. Like, you just need to be playing with your team, especially when you're running a comp centered around Lucio. Like, you can't be doing stuff like that. You can't be having to commit resources towards Lucio when the whole point is to commit resources towards your Ryan. Once again, another fight win because of Nanoblade. That wasn't because like you played together as a team better or anything. That was just Nanoblade. So far you haven't won a fight without Nanoblade or a Miracle Boop.
So what I'm hearing is we have better alt usage than them.
No, not really. I mean, it's just like both teams are pretty like they're just not coordinated. Both teams, but I mean their mechanics are just kind of better, so they're winning these fights, these like dry fights when the no ults are being used and like there's just characters going at it. Okay. I don't know why you're up here. Like, I guess if you're trying to hide to beat, but you can be here. And especially if you're trying to beat from up here, it takes time to hit the ground. Like, you just need to use downtime better. Like, you shouldn't be up here. There's no reason for you to be up here. Maybe for a boop, but like, even so. Like, your Ryan charges in and your Lucio's back here. Okay, they used a lot of ults. Yeah, there's not really much to say here. You're fighting from one down. You just kind of lose that. Especially since they have ults. You win this somehow.
Yeah.
Nanoblade again!
Yeah, like with any other support, getting grabbed there is bad because it means you're playing too far forward. But if you're Lucio, that's fine. You should be here. You should be grabbed with your Rhine. If you're not grabbed with your Rhine, that's an issue. Like that's the kind of mentality you need to have with Lucio. Like if it was your Ana getting grabbed, that's bad. If it's your Brig or you're like that's bad. But since it's Lucio, it's completely fine because that's where you should be. You shouldn't be anywhere else. Okay, well that was fast. Well, you just get headshot out of the gate here, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he gets a pick and then gets headshot.
Okay, well, I mean, that was just you being. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he didn't know they had double sniper. How did.
Okay, this is the first time, I think, or second time match where we actually do an actual speed call. Because I remember calling this, because I always call this.
Well, that was a little unlucky, but also, I mean, it's better to do that than to be back here having your aura hit absolutely nothing, I guess. Like, you took this space really easily because you sped. There was someone held here and they had to back up immediately because you sped through. So now you have all this space. Their break should not be able to play that aggressive. Yeah, you just need like standpoint here because there's our super high charge. You should have had 3 endpoint that entire time. If you had, then you would have kept it by now. Yeah. I mean, I guess that could have been avoided if you had kept 3 on. You guys kind of made a split decision to go for the Zarya. And you suffered a little bit of time because of it. You ended up capping, which was good. But yeah, those kinds of decisions, you either need to go all in or just not go at all. Because you have to play as a team. You have to make decisions as a team. You can't just kind of decide to put half of you to go after Zarya and half of you to standpoint. You should be speeding in here. I don't know why you guys are just sitting here. The Zarya goes so up. That is a fucking massive shadow. So the fight on first fight was really the only fight where the Lucio got any kind of value. Through his character, not his ult. This fight was a big shatter. All the fights before that were like Nano Blade or Boop or something. Like right here, you should be speeding into them. That's a little unlucky. Like it's literally 3 versus 6, and they're winning. Like you just needed to, like when their tanks were alone up here, you just needed to speed into them because the healers were still like coming out of spawn. I'd be calling for speed here, just trying to go aggro. That's a really good grab. The Ryan shouldn't die here. But the DPS can take it out, that's fine. It's a really big anti on their part. Why didn't you Lucio go over here? I mean, I guess they can test the Widow, but you didn't really do anything. Just the same thing again. Lucio not getting any value. You guys just lose that because you love your main tank. You should be speeding in or I think
Man, see if you can view it now. If you're still here.
It's frozen for me right now.
Well, no, yeah, I think he has it paused.
yeah, I have it.
See if you can view it.
I can see it.
Okay, I figured out what the issue is. So I'll just have to I'll just have to take the roll away after this.
This I don't know if anyone's calling, but Lucy should be coming back to. Your Tracer's there, which is, but like as Lucio with the speed boost, you need to be speeding your Rhino around, but you also need to speed yourself around. And the walls are the main form of mobility here. Like if you play this wall, you can get back here instantly. Like you've killed their Rhino already, so your Rhino already has the space he needs. You can just speed back here.
What happened there?
Where even? What?
Huh.
Well. Okay. So you should be speeding here. You're just holding your shield. It's really interesting. That's a good grab. He
I
should
think we
die.
lose this though.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Lucio's just like the Brig is getting such little value, and the Lucio is somehow matching the amount of value Brig is getting, and that's not good. Like that's Lucio's just getting the value. Like you're just not doing anything. Okay, you guys speed in here. And then you stop for some reason. It's a really good shatter. He has beat. Okay, you guys have Nano Blade here. Yeah, you just went off that. So there are a total of 2 fights in this game where the Lucio had value. 2 fights in a 18-minute game. Yeah. I don't know. If you're gonna not get any value out of Lucio like that, honestly, there's just no point in playing Lucio. Meta doesn't matter as much when no one knows what they're doing, so you can just run the Ryan and the Zarya, but also run Brig or Mercy or something. If you're not confident in Lucio, or if Lucio's not getting value, you can recognize. I mean, you're good enough to. I'd assume that at least one person on the team is good enough to recognize that Lucio's not getting value and tell you to switch.
The 30-minute game that took forever.
Might have to end this early because I've only got 15 minutes left.
Okay.
Okay, so you
I'm
run
pretty sure
double
this whole was the same thing of just winning off Nano Blade or just random picks.
Yeah.
I mean, then in which case, I'm sure you guys know what you need to be doing differently. You just need to be playing as a team, taking advantage of the win cons, because that last game was interesting, to say the least. It's a nice slate. You can't really do anything about it though. You don't have enough damage. So I feel like, did you guys know Ash was down here? I mean, someone must have seen Ash down here. The two of you could have just dropped on an Ash and killed her. If someone had called it out. I don't know if someone did, but all of you also just left your Ana alone. So Zarya should be sticking near Ana in this kind of comp. Like, you kind of just want to make sure your Ana doesn't die. Well, the monkey fucks up the jump, so.
Yeah, that was kind of lucky.
I think this first point was just both of us just messing up our jumps a lot.
That is a very ballsy res.
It is what Hydra does a lot.
The Ana's sitting down in the back. Kind of what I expect. Especially when your Zarya dies like that. You guys push up way too far. Their Ana being back there.
I was just sitting there shooting, not even moving.
So that was just really sloppy. There's a lot of misplays on both teams. It's a really good res. You didn't help your monkey at all, though. Yeah, so that was just staggering misplays, positional errors. There's not really anything to say there. You just need to be more aware of where you guys are playing, what the plan is, and mechanics. There's not really much I can comment on there.
Alright, Joe.
So you guys dive up here, which is good. Don't kill anything though. These guys should really be dead. Like, they've been in your backline for so long. They're on and their brig were back here the entire time. I don't know how they're not dead. I mean, Banana Blade, it didn't really kill much, but it created enough space for your Ana to get in a good position, which won you the fight. Just let your team get in better positions. Nano Blade from them. It's a really big anti. Not much you can do though, half your team is done. Yeah, so that was just Days Nano Blade. Got a lot of space. That's interesting. I mean, you guys just got a bad spawn. I was just a little unlucky. Honestly, I think you should have just, at that point, I think you should have just walked into the mines, because there's no way you're getting out of that. Just kill yourself. Stop the stagger, because now they're just going to push up to here for free. Maybe even more, actually.
Fixed!
Yeah, and if you guys die here, then the point's just gone. Yeah, you guys just staggered so much. Do you just lose this?
No, we win it. I don't know how we do it, but
I think it was
we
some
win it.
miraculous play by Dolly here. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, Dollar got a bunch of picks, yeah. and then the hog and the brig just decided
Yeah,
to walk
so,
away.
yeah, you almost just lost this point completely because you staggered yourselves for so long.
Hey Barley, can you make that jump from the payload onto high ground? Because I tried that multiple more times and I couldn't do it.
Probably, I don't know. It probably also depends on where the payload is, because the payload's moving as well, so it's also a little difficult. But I don't like. Honestly, this high ground isn't even that good for Zarya. Like, sure, it's good, but typically with a hog, you want to be playing with your hog, and you want to make sure, like, if he gets bubbled, you can, or if he gets hooked, you can bubble him. And sure, you can do it from up there, but it's also a lot easier to just go here and do it, and you can also laser as he gets hooked. Nice sleep. Oh. Why? Could have just shot him. Why did?
I don't know. I think I just nanoed there so we could.
I mean, the
He could just
nano
get
was
picked.
good. The nano was good, but
Nano lets the kill go through. He's questioning the whole hog.
Okay.
yeah, he could have just shot the Genji while he was on the ground. I don't know why he whole hogged. Now Genji lives, and you wasted a whole hog. That's a really good flank. That's a little unlucky.
I think Hydra Res is here actually.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would too. All needs to get the fuck out though. Soon they have a hog.
I wouldn't rest on it.
Yeah, he missed his what's it called there? That's why he was
Coach
still down
gun.
there.
Yeah,
he
that
missed.
was a little interesting. That was a good res, but I mean, I think it was a good
I
res,
don't
but
think there was a point in resing that.
I mean, I think it was fine. But I mean, like, I mean, they showed his better times of res, but that's like, it's not like that res is bad. He just couldn't make the coach gun. It's just a little unlucky. Oh, it's unlucky. I mean, there's not much to say there. It's just you mainly lost that fight because your Ash just failed the coach gun, and since you spent res on it, that was just one big resource that was just down the drain. If you hadn't res that, that wouldn't have happened. But I don't really think that's the Mercy's fault.
I can't remember. Did I successfully get off that res?
You did,
Yes,
but then he
because I
died like a
bubbled
second
you.
later.
Okay, yeah. The reason I wanted that res was because it could stall for time.
Yeah, but it didn't even do that successfully.
No, did it not? I didn't even remember.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
it was the one. It was the one where Dollar fell down, and then you came back up
Oh,
to
that
me.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, that res was good in my opinion, but the problem was that we didn't recover from it in total.
and Dollar just fucked up.
Yeah,
There's not much else
it
to
happens. So
say.
that happens.
It happens. We lost a fight like that. Numbani just because we didn't have coach. So stuff like that happens. It's just whatever. It's unlucky. You just have to accept it. You guys are okay. All of you are going on a really long flank, and your Ana's like your Ana and your Trace are the only ones trying to defend. Like this is just your Ana's just dead here. In like 99 times out of 100, your Ana just dies here. I'm pretty sure she does too because there's a fucking damage boosted Ashe and a ball on her. Like you just lose your main healer immediately off the bat. I'm not really sure what the plan was here. Like either you should have gone through here and taken high ground that way with the Monkey Diva, or your Ana should have gone with you guys. There's just no point in having an Ana go on point alone on a map like Dorado. Your Genji's solo diving while the rest of I don't really know what the plan is here.
I
don't know.
didn't know either. Dollar decided to call a rotation and a dive for us here, so I don't know. We were just following his lead here. And then
Yeah,
when we got up here and we saw Ana dead, it was kind of just like, okay, well.
Yeah, like
Fight's
either
done.
your Ana should have gone with you guys, or you guys should have just gone through here. I'm not really sure what the point of going around without your Ana was. Your Ana just died for free, and now you can't really do anything because you have no main healer. Yeah, I'm killing a Mercy on their Ashe, which is good. End up winning this somehow. I honestly don't know how. This was such a troll. They should have just turned on you guys immediately as soon as their Ana died. And you get another pick, which is good. Diva should probably not have backed up this far. Especially when they're running Hog, you need to be with the team. Basically you want to keep an eye on the Hog at all times as Diva. Because if someone gets hooked, you need to be ready to DM that. Like no matter what. Looks like you just go a bit too aggro here. The Hog fucks up though.
Have we gone over any of the other maps, by the way?
Yes, we've gone over
Which
all
one?
of them. All of them.
Okay, I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay, so you guys are playing really aggro and your Ana's just back on cart. You need to be playing a bit safer. I mean, you
Should I have
killed it.
pushed up away from cart there, or should they have played
No,
back?
they should have played back. You
Okay.
need someone on cart. It's just you guys played. You should have been playing this high ground, honestly. If you take this high ground from them, like you don't need to be here, as long as you're here. Because if you're here, you force them back here. You're also LOSing your Ana, which gives you time and the line of sight to engage with Nanoblade onto this courtyard, and then you just get like this much for free on the payload. There's no reason to play so far forward here. I'll cover this the next 2 points, and then I'll have to leave.
Okay.
Their hog just kind of trolls. I don't know what he's doing. So you guys are playing the high grounds, which is good. The Genji dashes in. That should have been your indicator to dive. When Genji dashes, he has no dash. He only has deflect, and against into monkey, that doesn't matter. You should have counter dived this and killed him, because he's so far forward from the rest of his team. That's an unlucky sleep.
Yeah, but I think the ball swings in and wakes him up.
Yeah. Oh, it's unlucky he didn't get beat off. And Genji's too far in at this point. You're kind of just tagging yourself. I mean, you get out, which is good. They're bad, but you either should have gone. Like you need to go help your Genji there. And most of the time, he doesn't live there. It's a really good stick. It's a really nice sleep. Your team's diving though. There's not much you can do about that. You guys needed to collapse on the cart there. It's a really good sleep. At this point, you just need to focus fire and kill them. It's not really any team play involved here. It doesn't really look like you're focusing anything, it just looks like you're hitting things. You're just shooting people without really focusing your fire on one target.
Yeah, we all got really quiet on this the first 2 rounds of this map.
Like, Moore's no fade 1 HP, you have 2 dive tanks. She should have been dead like as soon as she came out of fade. There's still 2 people on cart and you guys are going to their spawn. So this is just focus fire. Just need to focus your targets better. Alright, I need to head out.
Okay.
So, basically the gist of it is take advantage of positional misplays. Try to play together as a team and understand your win condition. Those are the 2 biggest things. Because if you guys learn those things, then you can start working on some other things like mechanics, combos, ult tracking, stuff like that.
Okay.
Alright, that's all I've got. If you have any questions, just DM me, I guess.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks for the help.
Yep.